Hey guys, this is Rock On bringing you the Jade build. Let's talk about the gear first off. You need a Ring of Royal Grandeur. You get this from Act 1 caches. You can do speed runs with a split party to get this pretty easily. But you're going to have a hard time getting one like that. Anyways, that allows you to have 5 pieces of the Jade instead of 6. The 6th slot opens up with the helmet, the Quetzalcoatl. This essentially doubles your damage. It makes your Locust Swarm and Haunt dealer damage in half the amount of time. So how that works with the build is you have a passive called Creeping Death. This makes your dots, Haunt, Locust Swarm, and the damage amplification from piranhas last almost forever. What does that mean? That means about 5 minutes. So, seeing how that's 5 minutes, and this helm allows you to deal the damage in half the normal duration, this essentially turns your dots into a 2.5 minute dot. So when you do a soul harvest after you dot the enemies up, soul harvest essentially through the set will consume effectively about 30 seconds worth of your dots. So if you think about that, that means that you could soul harvest 5 times without your dots running out. However, that will never work. That'll never happen because, first of all, hopefully you've killed them by then. Second of all, the cooldown with Soul Harvest won't allow you to get 5 of them off. So you probably get 3 before you have to reapply your dots. 3 to 4, if you're lucky. The 4th one's going to be very weak though, because it's the dots that are remaining that your Soul Harvest will consume. So there's you can run 2 different belts currently on live. You can run a Harrington Waistguard, which when most people know if you open any clickable, it'll give you a damage boost. You can also run a Hawaj Wrap. This makes your Locust Swarm turn into a huge CC that slows down the enemy. Take a second to talk about this. In the PTR 2.1, you cannot use Harrington's Waistguard inside of Greater Rift. There's barely any clickables. There may be a chest here and there, but it's slim to none. So that's pretty much out of the question. This belt, Hawaj Wrap, you can still use. And it also will proc a new legendary gem that gives you, I think it starts off with 20% damage bonus for against enemies that are CC'd. This belt will proc that. The other belt in 2.1 that's kind of exciting is the Vigilante belt. Currently, a Vigilante belt in live does not have cooldown reduction on it. 2.1 it does, and it can go up to 8%. Another key item is the Sunkeeper. My damage on mine is pretty low, but with the PTR you're going to get an item, I forget what it's called. It's called a gift, essentially, which allows you to add a socket. So what you can do, you can take the current socket, transfer that over into 10% weapon damage, and then add the socket back with the gift. Okay, so how do you play the Jade Doc? So first of all, you want to use Paranado first. What this does is it allows you to place a 15% increased damage buff on the mobs. And then any mobs that are knocked up also get an increase of up to 30% more damage when you use the strong arm bracers. After you use piranhas, you will then cast Locust Swarm. Even with the cold change in 2.1, I still think Pestilence is the best choice. The reason for this is there's barely any delay in the spread of Locust Swarm. When you use any other of the Locust Swarm runes, you will have a very long delay in the spreading. The third thing you're going to do is you're going to cast a bunch of haunts. You need to aim your haunts at targets that you hopefully believe do not have haunt on them yet. Now I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. After that, you're going to use Soul Harvest. Now, after you finish this rotation, you do not need to reapply your dots. And the reason why you don't want to reapply your dots is because of the damage buff from piranhas. You're getting essentially up to 45% increased damage against the enemies that were knocked up. If you reapply your dots after the fact, you're going to lose that damage buff that's snapshotted into your dots. Remember, your dots last 2.5 minutes. So if you reapply your dots after your first soul harvest or whenever you want, it's going to erase the buff that you put on to your dots. So let's look at some gameplay here. We're on T6. I'm just going to go into a quick bounty here. Let's go Weeping Hollow, sure. Now, the one other thing I need to mention about Paranado is if you put it directly on mobs, they tend to not get knocked up. You have to put Paranado within the path of the mobs, or close enough so that when they walk towards it, it sucks them in. Do not place it directly on them. I still do it sometimes by accident, but yeah. Okay, so here's an elite pack right here. I'm gonna put Paranado out. See, they got sucked in. Place my Locust Swarm. Place it again. Haunt, and done. Soul Harvest. Here's some white mobs. Just spam the haunts, and you can see the effect that haunt does. And look, the dots pretty much killed them. You will know when you've applied your dots correctly because you'll see around 20 million, 22 million a tick. And then boom. So there you go. There's a short video explanation on how the Jade set works. If you guys need more information, feel free to go to the forums, Witch Doctor forums, and look up the Jade Doc Explosion build, and also look up Buttery Nugs all-inclusive Jade Doctor write-up. Thank you for watching.